Alright then everyone, hello and welcome to round 3 of the NEF1 Season 5 Championship, and this week we are heading to the other part of the Middle East. We were in Bahrain last week. Now it is time for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, what has always been a brilliant Grand Prix for us here in NEF1. And should hopefully be more of the same this week, as we have 18 drivers on the grid. But it's going to be a brilliant qualifying session. So much drama last week out in Bahrain. The top 5 separated by about, I think it was 4 or 5 tenths of a second. P2 down to P5, I think it was even less than that. So it's going to be an absolutely brilliant qualifying here, I do reckon. We do have a qualifying ban being served early on in this session by Harry Howard for a rule break in last week's event, but that should be served rather soon. Yeah, it's going to be a brilliant Grand Prix. This Saudi Arabia, as said, always a track that's gone very well for us here. Provides good racing, good qualifying. It's going to be an entertaining one. As here we go, Harry Howard just struggling a bit with the damaged model, can't get his wheel off the car. As Harry, please find a bit of a longer straight and then just slam into the wall potentially at the end of this little straight that you're in. Just wait for all the cars to pass and then go straight at it. Just loading up his car, and well, at this speed he should absolutely explode heading into that barrier. There's something seriously wrong with this game. I think we can confirm there's something wrong with this game. Oh my goodness. Okay, Harry. Nope, that did it. Okay, Evan. That's going to be a clip for highlights later. Brilliant game code masters. As here we go, Gonzo's actually already out on a fast lap. So go on board with him. That's a little bit of a weird one. But as per the usual, is Q1, Q2 and Q3 here in any F1 qualifying. 18 minutes of Q1 is going to see the elimination of P18, P17 and P16, followed by 15 minutes of Q2 action. That's going to see everyone outside the top 10 eliminated, and then Q3 is a 12-minute shootout for pole position between the top 10. Keep your eyes out on this man with a point to prove from last season now when he got disqualified for unknown reasons. Matty MC16 is incredibly fast around this Saudi Arabia circuit, as he demonstrates with an immediate track limit breach on the first attempt possible. But incredibly fast driver on this track when he gets it right, which apparently is a bit harder than suspected. Incredibly fast around this place, so expect to see him have a strong showing here. Gonzo as well, always going to have a strong showing. Let's hope he can have a very strong one indeed. Current championship leader is SGF1 Gonzo, as he goes fast out of anyone, 130 flat. Here we have then, second to come across the line is going to be Dard6969. And is going to be a 131.9. After that, I believe it is Geitz about to come across the line to start his lap. Then Hybrid is going to be next to come across the finishes. Currently heading through the last isn't straight on the track, where Hamilton had his lovely little encounter with the rear of Max Verstappen during the actual 2021 Grand Prix, the opening edition of this Grand Prix actually, which was a bit of a shit house. Oh, Hybrid goes fastest out of anyone, 129.961 as Djokovic improves on that, 129.682. For the Swedish Aston Martin, who put on a truly dominant display in Bahrain. Absolutely supreme pace. So let's see if Djokovic can keep that up and place himself once again in championship contending status. Had a very strong start to last season as well. Don't you forget that. Became a father midway through. Had to miss a couple of Grand Prix for obvious reasons. Then sadly could never quite recover But out of the last 3 Grand Prix, he's won 2 of them, namely in Abu Dhabi and Bahrain. So it goes well here in the Middle East. So expect to see more of the same, maybe from Djokovic 5981. Here we go then, Matty MC on the second time of asking is heading through Sector 1 and into Sector 2, down to 4th gear for the sweep. Oh, as Matty is struggling a little bit in this early stage of Q1 here. Geitze, fastest out of anyone. It's a Aston Martin 1-2 at the moment. Geitze just a couple of hundreds ahead of his teammate. Matty just spinning a bit, coming onto the throttle after the long sweeping hairpin. As it's a lot of track limits and validations, well, basically everywhere. Cool Ice Cube has now started his flying laps, his first flying lap this session. The English is, it is quickly deteriorating this evening, and I do apologize about it. Currently sat in P14, Cool Ice Cube. Let's see what kind of pace he can get through Sector 1. It's 33.934, I believe that was. It's a decent enough time to see where it places him. We have 2 outliers currently, 3 outliers. It's Matty, Ruben, and Jay. Always slow times. We know Matty had that spin. We could imagine Ruben and JV8 had some issues as well. Cool Ice Cube, as things stand, going along nicely through Sector 2, about to come up with split. Ooh, so he just gets his line just that tad bit wrong, and this lap is not over, but very much interrupted. A Snixor stationary on the side of the track. Cool Ice Cube then, is he heading into the pit lane? No, he's not. Good. And it's going to be a 132.211 for the British Alfa Romeo driver. I was about to say Belgian just out of previous experience, but he has changed his license to British. That is what we go for. Jamar on lap as well is about to wrap that up. Last corner event, and I actually raced Jamar around this track a couple of weeks ago now. Put on a very strong performance then. 130.632 this time around. I know he's capable of going faster than that. Matty comes across for a 130.586. About a second off the pace still from Geitze and Djokovic, but I'm sure he's gonna get there. Snock in 75 in validated time. Snixor's out hunting lap time as well. Stern style as Danny DC is now out on track, about to start a flying lap. As there we go, just had a little problem coming out of that left right-hander. And that has put an end to that attempt. It's very tricky. I'm not quite sure how it happened. Just probably got stuck in the curb a little bit too much. Too early on the gas or just unsettled the car a bit. And that is Darren Style very close to hitting the wall. He does make contact with that Ferrari, I believe. It's a 5-place grid penalty for Mecki. So unfortunate. Yellow flags in that sector. Now JVA gets a 5-place grid penalty for collision with Matty MC. Yellow flags in sector 3. Everyone abort your laps for the time being until we get that cleared out. Yellow flags were in effect. There was a big incident that I don't reckon that's going to be looked at after this Grand Prix. Danny DC then, has he been a bit interrupted by that carnage at the end of Sector 3? A little bit, perhaps. It's 1:30.628 for the now experienced Red Bull driver, just a bit behind his brother and rival, and a bit ahead of Jamar by about 4 thousandths of a second. It's nice and close here in the NEF1 as per usual between the pair of Matty, Danny and Jamar. Basically nothing separating. As Snocken's now heading into the pit lane still with that time. 7 minutes left on the board. As I've yet to see a car ghost actually. Matty, could you check that ghosting's actually on? Because I've yet to see it this session. I usually see at least one case every qualifying session. Ruben saying it is. Good. But then a couple of 5-place grid penalties have been handed out, all on the yellow flag conditions for incidents at the end of Sector 3, or at the end of Sector 2, beginning of Sector 3, sorry. I'm sure it'll be looked at after the Grand Prix, but yellow flags were indeed in effect, which usually means slow down, so I doubt anything drastic is gonna happen there. Snixo now on yet another attempt. And that has not ended well. Just spinning, losing his front wing, and that is that run over and done with for Snixo for yet again. And he's having a nightmarish session here. Having an absolute nightmare of a session so far, and right now could be on the cusp of elimination. Still 2 people behind Harry Howe with that quali ban as well. As JV8 now hunting for time, needs those track positions as much as ever he can now. Especially due to the fact that he did get that penalty earlier on. He's about to start his flying lap. Ruben Hassan as well coming in as reserve this week for Haas, the team he was originally scheduled to drive with. Is now back in the Haas outfit. Placing OJ Kush for this week. But at the moment, the pace of those 2 Aston Martins are looking mighty. 129.6 for both of them. Hybrids third with a 129.961, so quite a way behind, but still a good lap down. Here we go then, Jay through Sector 2. Nice and flat for basically the entire sector. I just thought he was heading into the wall there, so I'm getting a bit of lag. I don't know what the stream quality is like. Hopefully it's better for you than it is for me. Obviously you're seeing what I'm seeing, but hope it isn't too bad. Hopefully this lag is just a result of my bad connection, not everyone else's. As we have Ruben with an issue in the beginning of Sector 2, as Wigan is coming up behind him on a flying lap that has been invalidated though. So not too much effect. Snocken 75, purple through Sector 1. So here we go, an immensely fast driver on his day. Snocken 75 had an absolute weldy out in Great Britain when he made his NEF1 debut as a reserve. A little bit more of a quiet race last week out in Bahrain. Still picking up the points, if I'm not mistaken, and this week in Saudi. He's looking good so far, so let's see what kind of lap time he can scrape together in that Haas and pull further up the order. Might he be able to challenge the top runners? Might very well be able to. Let's go then. It is a 29 flat and goes fastest, and by a margin. Half second is the margin from Snocken to Geitz, and Snocken takes his first provisional P1 of NEF1, I am quite sure. Brilliant lap that from Snocken 75. And well, that's put the pressure on basically everyone else if they want to be able to compete for this one. Half second faster than anyone. Djokovic. Hybrid now out on track as well, along with Meki. Gonzo's having a bit of a quiet session at the moment in P5, still in a good time, but he'll be disappointed by his stance. That is the maximum he can extract out of the car. Good opportunity to Meki to just close into the championship a little bit. He has fallen a bit behind after the lackluster performance in Bahrain that he had. Wasn't able to quite get those points in, whilst Gonzo finished at P2. And these are the two drivers that were hyped up for the championship contention places in the preseason show that we did. Gonzo and Meki were the ones I predicted fight for the championship, with Meki coming out victorious. At the moment, has some work to do, but definitely not impossible for him. Gonzo has been looking mightily strong at the opening stages of the season. But so is this man, Djokovic 5981, has looked strong, consistent all throughout the season so far. Geitz has looked strong, but that consistency hasn't quite been there yet. Only into the third race of the season, though, of I think it's 20 races that we're doing this season, if I'm not mistaken. Soven being nicely left by there by Snixor, who's desperately going for a time soon. If he's able to make the line, he has 10 seconds to do it, or he'll be out of qualifying. This lap has been invalidated. 6-5, and he's not going to be able to get time in. Snixor is going to be starting this race from last on the grid, along with Harry Howard on the rear row of the grid. Wigan has DNF'd. I completely missed that, but Wigan is out of this session. P15. We're going to get a 14-man Q2 session, everyone, because Wigan has retired out on track. No clue quite how it happened, and now Matty's left the session as well, which is not a good sign. Danny's left the session. Everyone's left the session. That is... not sure if everyone has. I'm hoping not. Please let me know what's going on. Game crashed for Matty. We'll get you straight back in. So then, Snocken ends this session out on top bonus, probably. Djokovic is still out on the lap, actually. But Snocken at the moment in P1, followed by Geitz, Djokovic, Hybrid, and Gonzo. But the top 5 separated by a full second. Quite a big field spread at the moment. About 3.5 seconds over the course of this entire field. Let's see if it tightens up a bit towards Q2 when everyone starts to get some experience and routine around the circuit. Djokovic now is not had a good one, just looking at that timer. So it's not going to be able to do anything. And Snocken ends this session on top, followed by Geitz, Djokovic, Hybrid, and Gonzo. Meki in P6, followed by Danny, Matty, Jamer, and Iwatts makes out your top 10. Ruben, Harry Howard, and Snixor not quite good enough this week to get into Q2. Harry Howard with that qualifying ban as well. Keep that in mind. And Wigan making a mistake at the end of qualifying. Unforced there, really. Wasn't hunting for position. Never had to. But he's out of qualifying as well. He's going to be starting P15. There we can see 3 people with grid penalties. Actually, I thought it was just 2, but apparently there's 3. Meki, Darren Style, and JV8 all with those 5-place grid penalties. And that is gonna, well, surely compromise them heading into this Grand Prix. So here we go, then should be heading into Q2 in just a moment. 14 cars now then in Q2. Snocken, Jmar, Meki, Hybrid, JV8, Gaita, Djokovic, Dard, Gonzo, iWatts, Cool Ice Cube, Darren Style, Danny, and Matty. IO contenders for the remainder of this qualifying session. In 15 minutes we'll know who makes it into the top 10 shootout. Snicks, I believe, for the first time in his NEF1 career, as he's pointing out there, is out in Q1. I don't think it's ever happened before. But now it is Jamar, absolute legend. Sadly, I was in the Discord once that happened, but absolute legend, mate. Subscribing yet again. Someone's currently in chat cheering for guides as well. Brilliant to have you in the stream, mate. Hopefully you're enjoying it as much as we are. As Guide says, the first lad to head out on track as well, followed by Matty MC, and then we have a Red Bull coming out. I would believe that is iWatts, yes indeed. So then let's get all of that juicy stuff back on screen. Not a lot going on in Q2 anymore now that they deleted that Q2 tire rule, which is a bit of a shame really. I quite enjoyed the strategic aspect of it, but well, let's see. Now I have to think about how many sets of tires you use up in over the course of these sessions. So if you get a very, very good one in here in Q2, might only see people out for one single run. I have to wait and see how everything goes. But the only thing that we know so far is the Guide to Zero is going to be the first driver to start his flying lap. 14 drivers are heading into the session, only 10 are going to be heading out. 4 people are going to be eliminated. I think we're in for 1 or 2 surprises this session. Let's start then. Guide to Zero starts this qualifying session off. All the way down to second for the fast corner actually. Get the drive. Turn 2 heading through turn 3 and into turn 4 and 5. Very easy to lose the rear going through this turn 5 and into turn 6, but managed to hold it nicely. If I'm not mistaken, 27 or 28 turns around this corner, most out of any F1 track, and by quite a margin as well. It's the fastest average speed amongst any street circuit, rivaling Monza here in the Jeddah circuit. Absolutely immense how fast this track actually is. They made it a bit slower from 2021 to 2022, and they are making even more changes to it now heading into 2023. We'll see what those changes are. I think they're just widening it for to basically have less blind spots. If I understood things. Nice run through those final couple of proper corners there. And that's a car that looks very, very speedy in a straight line. Looked quite good through the sweeping section as well. So I'm not quite sure how guys have set up that car. Probably quite optimized over the course of the entire lap here. 29.715 to start this session off. Snocken, we know, can go a 29 flat. Currently out on his outlap. Matty has invalidated. Next one to cross the line is going to be Watts is in the pit lane. It's not going to be him. It's going to be Danny DC97. Is he going to be able to challenge guides up front? Yes, but not quite by enough. 45 hundredths of a second missing. 45 thousandths of a second missing, sorry. And then we have Cool Ice Cube a bit behind in P3. Next cross line is going to be Hybrid. Strong showing in Q1. Strong showing in Q2 as well. Goes fastest out of anyone with the 29.399. And Hybrid is now picking up the pace here in this qualifying 2 session. Absolutely brilliancy from the Alfa Romeo. Darren Stuyvesant heading into the last couple of meters. It's not going to be a very fast one. It's going to be a 32 flat. Season behind Cool Ice Cube and probably within risk of getting knocked out. Djokovic now is just starting a lap actually. Smecky's wrapping one up, who gets a tank slapper coming out of the last corner perhaps? Or if it's yet more game lag, and what is he going to be able to do? It's a 30.780, goes P5 with that time. Not fast enough, and with that 5 second time, or with that 5 place grid penalty, it's going to be very, very difficult for Mecky perhaps this evening. Still waiting for a lap from Snocken, who's about to go through the sector 1 split. JV8, Djokovic, Dodd, Gonzo, Iwat and Matty yet to set time as well. A minority of everyone having set time here after 6 minutes of running. But then picking up a lovely little slipstream from the Mercedes ahead. He'll be thanking Matty for that one after the qualifying's ended. And here we go then, through the last isn't straight and through the final corner in just a moment's time. Nice and soft on the brake, heading into the corner nicely, smooth on the exit, nice and smooth on the power. And up the gears, DRS is wide open as we're heading down into the line. Is it going to be fastest again? Yes, it is. 29 flat, and it's remarkable consistency from Snocken. That is 2 thousandths. 2 thousandths slower than his previous attempt in Q1. I don't think everyone's lagged out the game. I think you might have lagged out the game. If you leave the lobby and rejoin it, Gonzo's actually gone fastest now with 29.046. Gone even faster by about, Jesus Christ, 6 thousandths of a second. But if you rejoin the lobby, mate, because they wouldn't be setting these level lap times with AI mode enabled, which it would be if everyone's lagged out. Everyone's still in it for me. Iwatts goes 6th fastest, 130.396. Cool Ice Cubes now rejoin the lobby. And Matty's out on yet another attempt at a run here. Gonzovan leading Snocken and Hybrid top 3. Guides it just outside along with Danny, who's a couple of thousandths behind him. Matty with a bone to pick around this track after last season as well, where he got disqualified after leading the Grand Prix for a little bit of time. Got disqualified when the safety car came out and, well, basically just caused a massive game issue. So Matty is definitely going to be feeling a little bit of pressure as we're heading into this one, as he demonstrates that by setting the fastest lap of the session so far by about half a second. Lord help us all if that is the level of pace Matt is going to be at for the rest of this season. Lord help us all. We're in for another season 2, everyone. Get the popcorn. It's going to be a long run. Here we go, and Matt, absolutely brilliant lap that, actually. Darwin invalided one so far. Djokovic yet to set a time here. Same with JV8, leaving it awfully close. It's only... is it 5 minutes remaining of this session now? There's not a lot of time left in this session at least, so leaving it awfully close to death here. Especially if they fail to get a competitive run in. But what a lap time that is for Matty MC, 28.5. As Gonzo has retired from the session in the pit lane, feel like he's done enough to go through, and I would have to say I agree with him. But at the moment then, Djokovic is heading into Sector 2. Purple Sector 1 according to the game. Is he going to be able to challenge Matty up front? We saw Djokovic be very, very quick in Q1 along with his teammate Gonzo and Snocken. And he's looking ever so consistent here as well. Just taking it one bend at a time, because there are no real corners in this sector. Apart from this one, perhaps could be Candace Propertan. But it is bend after bend after bend. DRS wide open on that car. Now as we're heading down into the final corner, Snocken's retired as well. Is Djokovic going to be able to knock these guys down a place? He's going to be able to challenge Matty's immense time up front. We'll see in a moment's time. I don't think it's going to be fastest, but it's going to be decent. It's P5 for Djokovic, ahead of his teammate, crucially, but just behind a hybrid, who's putting in a performance so far this Grand Prix weekend. Dodd at the moment hunting for lap time, trying to hunt for track position as well. Prime position had to take quite a fair few of them with the penalties handed out, even if he doesn't get the best qualifying position. Gets P11 here, but that is going to be a couple of positions gained on Meki if he fails to improve. But as things stand, obviously Meki makes it into Q3, but he will have that 5-place grid penalty at the beginning of next race. Darren's style then is improving, and he goes out of Cool Ice Cube by about 0.3 of a second. Now JV8, the only one yet to set a time. And he won't be doing so this attempt either. So then everything's calmed down just that little bit right now before the last dash in the final couple of minutes. Darren's style might still be out. Cool Ice Cube surely is going to come out again. 2 minutes and 20 remaining here. So we're seeing the Aston Martin of, I believe that'd be Geitze coming into the pits. Oh, that'd be Djokovic, sorry. Geitze's out there hunting time. As Meki's been able to improve actually a little bit on P4. 29.2. Dard still hunting time as well, going through Sector 1. I believe he slowed down just a little bit, indeed yes. As JV8 is going to get this one shot at it. Cool Ice Cube's just now joined the lobby, so he's not going to get another shot at it. go then, through Sector 1. Nice sweeping S section here. Just goes a bit wide, gets away with it. Game deems him to have lost time because of it. And into Sector 2. This is where we saw Matty lose the rear earlier. Quite easy to do if you just get in the throttle a bit too early. And this place is an absolute nightmare on this inside curve, but he's just on now. Take it a bit too much, you lose the rear, as JVA was just about to. Managed to catch that in time before it escalated into something bad though. Now DRS wide open, heading into the two of the last three proper corners around this place. Manages to tackle those nicely. DRS wide open now, yet again heading down into the last proper corner. Would it be turn 27 or 28? I can't quite remember which one, which they widen a bit on this game, adding that runoff area, which was always there to be fair. Here we go then, main straight for JV8, and what is he going to be able to do with this time? Is he going to be able to break into the top 10? No, but P11 for JV8, just behind Iwat and J-Mar. Not a bad time that from JV8, 130.628. Nothing to be ashamed of at all, as Darts heading into the pit lane won't be able to improve on that. Neville, Darren Style and Cool Ice Cube, which means effectively qualifying is over unless JV8 can put in a well-there performance here, but he has slowed down. And that is qualifying over and done with, everyone. Matty MC takes top on us in this one with an immense lap that I struggle to see anyone beating. Gonzo P2, Snocken in P3, Meki P4, Hybrid in P5. Djokovic and Gaitza 6th and 7th, followed by Danny, Jamar and Iwatts makes out your top 10, and they are going to be fighting for in Q3 for that coveted pole position spot. As Cool Ice Cube, please let me know if you are able to rejoin if you're in the lobby. Just give me a message if not, and we'll try to get you invited. But whilst we're just waiting, let's have a look real quick at the standings of the last week's Grand Prix. And as we can see here, it is SGF1 Gonzo in the lead of this championship. By 50 points over Meki's 36, still P2 in the championship, Meki 5724. So he's looking for a strong one in this Grand Prix. Djokovic just behind in P3, followed by Matti in P4 and Snocken in P5. Danny P6, followed by Geitz in P7, Wig in P8, Jamar in P9, and Haroldinho in P10. But as we can see, there a lot of the points have been allocated between P1 and P8, which could perhaps be a little bit of the story of this season. I have to wait and see, but we do have a lot of fast lads in who aren't going to be dropping points too often. Then let's have a look at the Constructors' Championship we're about to switch over to. And, well, that's a bit of a closer affair at the top, because Williams are leading that one by 3 points over Aston Martin. Mercedes running a couple of points behind in P3, but is not far down to Ferrari as well. Currently a four-way battle. And then we have Red Bull and AlphaTauri not far behind either. Haas and McLaren, P7 and P8. Alpine and Alfa Romeo are yet to score a point this season. Hybrid at the moment on form to change that. As here we go then, it is time for the coveted Q3. Gonna be absolutely brilliant. Top 10 shootout for pole position as well. Must be said, Matty's looking absolutely mighty for this one. Half second faster than anyone in Q2. So it's going to be a difficult one to beat. We'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds, but expect to see Matty high up. Here we go then, 10 people left. We've knocked out 8 so far. Let's knock out 9 more. No one headed out on track quite yet, only 15 seconds into the session to be fair. Usually we get 1 or 2 people to just dive out there straight away. And that role is going to be filled by, I believe that was Jamar perhaps, no, it says GF1 Gonzo. Heading straight out on track, trying to get the clear track ahead of him, and he will be able to do so. He's followed by, well, quite a fair few people. Danny's heading out there, Matty's not, but Meki definitely is. I believe I saw an Aston Martin, that was Djokovic as well. So we're now seeing even more drivers come out of pit lane. I believe that was SFLY Jamar coming out. I believe I saw Snocken coming out as well. Matty is now coming out. A lot of people are coming out. A lot of people are coming out here. Hybrid's just now coming out of pit lane as well with a point to prove in the Alfa Romeo. Had a solid 2 sessions so far in this qualifying. Let's hope that he can convert that into a good starting position on the grid. Keep in mind the Meki S5 plays grid penalty for the start of the Grand Prix. So wherever Meki finishes, you can count him down 5 positions for the start of this race after previous contact with Darren Style. I believe it was in Q1, got stationary on the outside of turn 24, 25, I believe. And that was turning into a bit of a carnage situation there. But here we go then, SGF1 Gonzo about to start his first flying lap of this Q3 session. And we'll follow it with interest here. Let's see what he's going to be able to deliver in the Williams. Beautiful apex in turn 1 and 2. Through turn 3, just a sweeping left-handed corner. Heading into turn 4 and 5. This is when Nikita Mazepin's F1 career ended in 2021, where he made his last ever couple of corners. His last ever F1 Grand Prix. Through this double right-hander, very tricky to get right, and through this left-hander, hard to stay within track limits here if you have the wrong setup on. SGF1 Gonzo managing nicely. Heading down then into this sweeping left-handed hairpin, very easy to lose the rear here. 4th gear all the way through, can go into third. Short shifting up to 5th and 6th, just get the traction on. And then heading into this right left-hander, also dangerous curbing here on the inside. And just avoid that nicely. Easy to hit the outside wall there, just avoids it. Very, very solid lap so far from SGF1 Gonzo. Now heading into the final couple of proper corners before the last one. Once again, easy to lose the rear going through here, manages to hold nicely. And SGF1 Gonzo, as things stand, is on his way to an absolutely cracking lap time here at the beginning of Q3. I have a Red Bull coming up behind him. Gonzo van, fastest lap so far is a 28.5. Is he going to be able to challenge that? Yes, he does, and he beats it. 28.4 is the benchmark time set by Gonzo, and it could be hard to beat. Next one to cross the line is going to be Danny DC7. Looks solid so far. Not absolutely on fire, though. Let's see what he can come up with here at the beginning of Q3. 29.1. I believe Matty is somewhere along those lines as well. Djokovic 3, Meki 29.4, very close between. Long way up to SGF1 Gonzo. Snocken is now heading out the pit lane, opting for a bit of a different strategy here in qualifying as well. Let's even. Matty comes across the line, P2, and by just 1/100th of a second to SGF1 Gonzo. He's going to be kicking himself with that one. But opportunity to improve for sure. Where's Guides on all this? Jamar 155.5 and 1 had issues. Now Guides is about to cross line. What is he going to be able to do? It's a 29.129, good enough for P3. But as things stand, Gonzo and Matty are the men to look at. Also, thank you Foggy Fast for following. Sorry I missed that one right in the middle of that qualifying action. But thank you very much for the follow, man. Very much appreciated. We're getting closer to the current goal of 120 subs. So please, if you're not already following us, please help us get there. Not 120 subs, sorry, 120 followers. If you do want to help us reach 120 subs, very well feel free to. Here we go, and Iwatts is now heading through the last corner as well. It's just on board with Geitzer for a bit there, so I was looking at my computer monitor instead. But here we go, and Iwatts is now heading down to the line. It's not going to be a very good one, only good enough for P8. That is basically the first run over a bit. This qualifying session has been a bit interrupted by Snocken's weird strategy. Not going out with absolutely everyone else here. Let's see what he's going to be able to do. Well, nothing on this lap. As Ruben, as someone who knows basically nothing about Twitch, what were you trying to do in chat? I have absolutely no clue what I was supposed to do. Just asking basically out of curiosity. So right now it's close between Gonzo and Matty up front, and it's close, well, basically all the way down to P7 from P3, separated by about 3/10 of a second, then a bit of a margin down to Iwatts and Jamar. Still waiting for a time from Snocken. You can add a link to your Twitch chat. I'm gonna have to learn Twitch, haven't I? Link to everything. I am definitely gonna have to learn this. Definitely am. Ruben, I know you're quite solid at Twitch, but yeah, I do absolutely need help. I'll give you a DM over the course of the week, and yeah, just basically teach me Twitch. Is probably the name of that course. As Snockerman is heading in to end the first run. And I thought we were going to get a nice solid minute, but Jamar's just then heading out of the pit lane. Gives us something to do. Oh, Solly H said you can make a link to Discord, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Well, we have all of them, so that could be beneficial. That could be quite beneficial indeed. Here we go then. Jamar is on an outlap at the moment that is somehow invalidated. Sure, it's just a temporary setback. As no one else seems to be heading out on track so far. Actually, Meki is a bit earlier than expected, but he does need that clear track position ahead of him. So let's see what he's going to be able to do here. Whilst everyone is out on outlaps, I'm just going to do this real quick. We're going to do a bit of a prediction time. So I'm just going to set this up for a minute. Sorry if I'm missing something. Just going to set it up real quick here. And it's going to be running for 2 minutes here. It is who is going to take pole position. Is it going to be Matty MC? Is it going to be SGF1 Gonzo? Or is it going to be someone else? 2 minutes to earn some lovely channel points that we are soon surely going to make something off as soon as Ruben teaches me what to do with them. Because I'm a total noob at such things. But get your predictions in. As Meki now has started his flying lap, Jamar's already well into it, 2 seconds down already, probably lost a bit of time through, I would imagine, sector 3 or sector 2 at this very spot. Potentially, we'll see when he comes through the sector 2 split. But now everyone is out on track for these last 2 minutes of qualifying here in Saudi Arabia. 16 seconds down is Jay Marnie is salvaging this run at the moment. Let's see what he can make of the rest of this lap. Had a good performance here in another league a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if he can carry that over. Jay Marvan heading through the last corner as we speak, just turning in now. Nice apex, that nice on the exit, power down nicely and power straight to the line. What is he going to be able to do here? It is going to be nothing else than a 130.34, good enough for P8. Probably would have been hoping for more, just a couple of hundreds ahead of IWAT stats. So Matty Van is starting his flying lap, and I believe Gonzo's about to start his as well. Has just started actually. Keep an eye out for that in just a moment's time, because Meki's about to come across the line. This is going to be a crucial one for his group position and potentially for the championship as well. Let's see here. Meki comes across the line P3 provisionally. That would be P8 when we're entering the Grand Prix. So that is absolutely better than he would have been hoping for potentially. Matty and Gonzo absolutely storming off at the opening stages of this qualifying session by about half a second over anyone else. 21.479 for Gonzo, 28.487 for Matt. If Gonzo's now flying through Sector 2, don't know if he's going to be able to improve on that lap. Could be tricky for them both, having to rely on a lot of clean air. But Gonzo at the moment is improving. Is Matt improving is the golden question. Yes, but not by enough. At the moment, Gonzo is picking up a lovely slipstream from his teammate here as well. J-Mart to the freaking rescue. And Gonzo might well have earned another 10 from that. Iwatts crashes out. He's going to be starting P10 here potentially if Snocken gets a solid lap time in. But Gonzo is going to improve. It's a 28.291. He is on provisional pole, and is Matty going to be able to do anything about that? Has to improve by 2 attempts at least. Is he going to be able to do it? Yes, he is, and Matty is on provisional pole by less than 100th of a second. Meki is not going to improve on his attempt. Then we have Djokovic and Gaitse next to their laps up. Gaitse is not going to be able to do anything. Hybrid currently sitting in P7. He's had such a good qualifying in general, but he's not going to be able to do anything better than a P7. He's going to turn into a P6 here. Danny, P3, 28.741. Where's Djokovic in all of this? Has he had a bad one? I don't quite know yet. I do believe he's had a bad one. I don't think, he's not going to be in the running for a lap in this session. I believe that is your finished grid. Matty takes pole position away from Gonzo at the very death of qualifying. Snocken just takes P3, followed by Danny in P4, Meki P5. Djokovic and Gaitse P6, P7, followed by Hybrid in P8, Jamer in P9, and Iwatts with a crash at the ending stages of Q3 takes P10. There we go then. Matty takes his, I believe that'd be his fast pole position of this season. It's a brilliant lap, that. Absolutely brilliant lap time. Thank you, Alex White, for following as well. Sorry about the lateness again. Just a bit caught up with the action on track. But thank you very much for following. Hopefully you're enjoying this one as much as we are. David, what's my prize for prediction? Remove my 5-place grid penalty. That could be a bit tricky. Could be a bit tricky. You could have actually gotten a prize if you actually used the prediction tool in the Twitch. As there we go then, Matty reigns supreme in Saudi Arabia, as he has many times before in NEF1. Just ahead of Gonzo and Snocken, Danny in P4 and Meki P5, which is going to turn into P10 as we start this Grand Prix due to 5-place grid penalty. As we can see there as well, terminal damage for Iwatts on his second run. Very, very unfortunate for him. He's going to be starting in P9 come the Grand Prix. But then that is the end of qualifying. We'll be waiting for a couple of minutes before we get the race underway. Just give everyone a quick break. As soon as we know the brake is working, I'm gonna go have me a glass of water as well. Just rest the throat a bit, and hopefully it'll hold up for this Grand Prix, which could be a very, very exciting battle between mainly probably Matty and Gonzo here. Are the two men we are looking at. Lovely sportsmanship going on between the two in the Discord as well, so what you want to see. Two brilliant lads, this Gonzo and Matty. A lot of respect for each other. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a very good one. And it's going to be happening in a couple of minutes. We'll be going to 2 minutes worth of ads. I'm going to get me a drink of water. But stay tuned. We'll be back for more coverage of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in a couple of moments' time. It's actually, no, someone's readied up way too early. We'll be going in 20 seconds. So everyone listening to the stream, hurry back. And if anyone know who readied up too early, please let us know immediately. Or if you wouldn't mind coming forward, please do so. As a predicted one-stop strategy event, medium to hard tires. I believe everyone is going to be starting on that coveted medium tire as well. As here we go then, is your full grid for this evening. Matty on pole position, followed by Gonzo, Snokken, Danny and Djokovic. Geitze in P6, followed by Hybrid in P7, Jamer in P8, followed by Iwat and Meki, P9, P10. Dard starts P11, followed by Cool Ice Cube in P12. Wigan, unable to... unable to do anything at the end of qualifying after the crash he had in Q1. It's going to be starting P13 after Ruben, J, Harry Howard, and Snixor. Darren Stahl is going to be starting last in P18. But then we'll be getting this race started a bit earlier than anticipated. As the clock is just struck 11 or 10, depending on which time zone you're in, as most of the drivers are either Swedish or British in this league. So then Matty just backing the field up a little bit for the last corner. Doesn't want to let his tires sit there and cool down for too long on the grid. Manual parking, obviously, new addition for this game, has brought a couple of fun tweaks into the equation. Actually, just towards the patience is basically all the trick to it. 18 people then for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Usually one of the best races of the season in NEF1. We'll get it out of the way quickly along with Silverstone. We're leaving usually the best, which is Kota, for last, however. There we go, and Meki avoiding the stationary car of Darren Stahl there, I believe was ghosted, but good to avoid that one, unless we know what happened when he didn't avoid Darren Stahl earlier on in this evening. Matty has it lined up on pole position then, followed by Gonzo and Snokken. Gonzo's going to be right on his chuff heading in. He has the inside line for turn 1. It is 5 red lights. And it is lights on, the way we go. This is an absolutely horrible camera angle. Gonzo has gotten Matty at start. Matty gets a horrible start, and he's not going to be putting pressure from Snokken, who has the inside heading into turn 1. He's going to be taking that P2 away potentially. Matty falling down P3, run start, caught sleeping, had a horrible start, a lot of wheel spin back. Gonzo takes the lead of the Grand Prix from Snokken and Matty. Danny stays P4. The two Aston Martins are doing a little bit of infighting. No major accidents. Dard down 5 positions. Ruben has DNF from this session. There's a massive crash coming out of turn... what would that be? Turn 7, turn 8. And that is the first safety car of this evening. Ruben's out of the Grand Prix. I don't know quite how that happened, but first retirement of this Grand Prix came after just a couple of moments' time. It is Ruben SN. Out of a front wing then, after qualifying so well, is a hybrid, but he's shown raw pace at this track. Pray that he's going to be able to get back up into the points and have a solid Grand Prix here. But then, whilst we actually have the safety car, I'm gonna just go have me a drink of water for 2 minutes. We're gonna be going to a quick ad break just to get the pre-rolls out of the way for anyone wanting to watch stream. We'll be back in just a moment's time for continuation of the coverage of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here. We'll be back in just a moment. So there we go, then we are back after that little ad break with the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix currently under safety car conditions here. After a massive incident on the start involving Hybrid and Ruben, I know was involved in that as well. Looking at it, probably Gaita, Djokovic and Dard potentially, all at the back. Massive winners on this start. Cool Ice Cube up 5 positions and Darren Style up 9. Wigan back up into the points. Big loser on this start. Matty MC just not getting off the line. Done by Gonzo, well, basically within 10 meters. And Snocking got him coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. So Matty definitely with a point to prove now. Safety car is going to be out for yet another lap. We're heading into lap 3 of this Grand Prix now. Dard just running a bit behind as well. Probably not triggering the safety car coming already. But hopefully we can have a cleaner restart than we had the initial start to this Grand Prix. As both the Aston Martin pits for a strategy change, it's a new front wing going on for Gaita. Djokovic is being held massively here, as it's a new front wing for Djokovic as well. I'm not sure why I didn't pit on the previous lap. They're now going to be in P16, P17 championship contending Aston Martin. All meanwhilest Williams scoring quite high points up in P1 and P5. And they are your Constructors' Championship leaders. That could be problematic for the Constructors' Championship for Gaita and Djokovic and their Aston Martin. Obviously, Gaita and Djokovic, easy to forget, they are actually the reigning Constructors' Champions. But they earned that title for McLaren, then the entire team transferred over to Aston Martin mid-season or post-season actually. And that team is now run by Snixor and Dodd. Having a bit of a tougher time here in the opening stages of Season 3. I'm sure they'll get going quite soon. Both proven race winners in NEF1 with 1 each under their name. Actually, Snakes has more than one race winner. I think it's up to 3 or 4 maybe. We'll have to keep track of those stats. Go over every single season. Start running detailed statistics of every single driver that's ever raced for us. It'll be quite fun to know. Here we go then. Best decision all race. Safety cars in this lap. We'll be getting going soon. Gonzo then is able to control the pace of this restart and get going whenever he pleases. As soon as safety cars in to the pit lane. And he slows it right down, heading into the last corner. So much so that it's hard to maintain single file formation. And he does a brilliant one mid-corner, just gets the power down and snuck him. But he can't do anything since he's mid-corner. You can't just push the accelerator down that much. And that is one of the best restarts I've ever seen from Gonzo. Now Matt is being done by Danny DC97 here. Takes that position away from him. Cool Ice Cube and Meki are scrapping away for P7 and P8 respectively. Meki might just have to concede at 1 for the time being. Can't really make a diving move down inside into 4. Now Cool Ice Cube on the back of Iwat, seeming to have a bit better traction on the entry of this very snaily right-handed, or right-left-hander. But not quite. Iwat's just breaking away a little bit. Jamar now as well has been able to get past Matty MC. What is happening for the pole sitter here? Is on hard tires. But still, what is going on? Everyone ahead of him though on mediums apart from Jamar, so hard tires as well. Still getting past him with relative ease. Matty struggling here in the opening phases of the Grand Prix. Where's Meki doing in all this? Currently battling away with Cool Ice Cube, getting a run on him. Just gets that run a little bit interrupted. Doesn't want to risk anything at the moment. Has to think about the long term of this season. It's a long way to go. We're on race 3 out of 20. Cool Ice Cube moves to defend the inside. Squeezes Meki a bit to the outside. Meki on the outside of the last corner. And still on the outside, coming out of it. Brilliant battling from Cool Ice Cube and Meki. Meki just trying to tuck into the slipstream, actually heads towards the inside. And now surely has to be able to outbrake the Alfa Romeo, does so and gets ahead of him. Meki's up in the P7, Cool Ice Cube just has to concede. And behind that is Harry Howard going wheel to wheel with Darren Style and Hybrid. And he just comes out victorious at that one. Harry Howard into the points in P10 behind Wigan. JV8 then having a couple of issues in P15. And both the Aston Martins not really making up any ground whatsoever at the moment in P16 and P17 on the first lap of this restart. But now Gaitza looks punchy on JV8 here. Sends it down inside and sweeping left-hander, and Djokovic might be able to capitalize on it. Not quite, but Harry Howard's had a problem going through that corner. Currently running inside the points, is now well outside the points. P17 lost and by a little bit of a gap as well. Yellow flag in sector 2. As that is the current NEF1 champion, Guide Cicero, having had an issue going through the left right-hander. As Iwatts then gets his run all sorts of wrong and loses 3 positions at once. Cool Ice Cube, Wigan and Snakesaw flies well past him. As he moves to be looking at a move on Snakesaw, but not quite. Snakesaw just has space coming out of the corner. Worth mentioning, J Mara has fallen behind Matty just a couple of corners ago as well, but he's fighting back, make slight contact there. Nothing that's going to affect either of them, but he gets a run on Matty here round the outside of turn 3, but surely has the outside on off turn 4, has to back out of it surely. Follows Matty through this snaily bit though. Let's see if he can keep up with him. As that is Danny DC having had an issue as well going through this sector, and it's a race of issues for basically everyone so far. Losing a position to Cool Ice Cube, Wigan and Meki, Jamar and Matty Danny, now down in P8. What looked to be a very, very promising start is quite something else as things stand. And look at the gap that's already formed. Snocken and Gonzo. Snocken actually has the lead of the Grand Prix. I don't know how that happened. Sorry if I missed it. But Matty's 10.6 seconds behind already. And unless we have a safety car, it's going to take an absolute miracle for Matty to be able to put any type of fight up for the win of this Grand Prix as things stand. Snocken has the advantage on SGF1 Gonzo. With the help us on the DRS here though, is Gonzo going to be able to fight back? He gets ever closer and that car is fast and straight line. You can see it. It's Haas versus Williams up front in NEF1. Not quite close enough to think about a move as of yet. Has to build up that gap a little bit. Snocken now. Get out of the elimination, or get out of the danger zone basically on Gonzo. Get outside of that 1 second gap. Get rid of the DRS factor. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. J-Mars had an issue, so has Snix, or I don't quite know. J-Mars had a massive issue along with Danny. Don't know quite what's going on with them, but it's shaking everything up a bit. Hybrid's now back up into P6 after the heavy contact that he had on lap 1, taking its entire front wing off. Was in last at one point, now already back up in P6. Wigging up 8 positions on the start in P5. Lap 7 out of 25, everyone. As it's a big train here, ranging all the way from P8 down to P12. Battle for the final points positions. At the helm of that comes Cool Ice Cube, and just a couple of attempts behind him is Iowa Style JV8 and Snixor. All very close between them as now Dard has overtaken J-Mar for P13. J-Mar gets a pre-setting time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. Yellow flags to CF 2009. Usually quite a bit of yellow flags going around this place as Dard just squeezes front wing in there. J-Mar leaves him the room. But now he's heading into the pit lane. Don't quite know why. Maybe just seeing a gap that none of us saw. That could be a decent call from J-Mar heading into the pit lane at this early stage. Geitzer now putting pressure on his former team as Danny gets a 5 second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Unnecessary one to get. Is not going to make his race any better. As thank you CF 2009 for the follow as well. Completely missed it as per usual. Sadly a bit focused on the racing at hand. But thank you very much for the follow. Just 2 away from 120 followers this Grand Prix. Let's see if we can get there. Mean the world to us here in NEF1. Here we go. Geitzer gets an almighty run on Dard. Basically just, I think Dard actually did just let him go there. Could have been dangerous that you saw the closing speed that Geitzer had on Dard over the course of a couple of seconds. Djokovic is now going past his dad in the Mercedes, his Wigan 71 in the Mac, being passed by Djokovic, former NEF1 champion of season 3. Now setting off the hybrid as well. Gonzo 6.3 tenths behind Snocken. 6 tenths, 0.6 seconds. Matty 14 seconds behind the leaders now. It's turning into a tough afternoon for the Mercedes driver. Looked to be potentially a race win. Now turned into a podium at best perhaps, because Mecki is right on his chuff as well, and he's looking towards turn 4. Not this time around, with Matty's falling back. What is now ever so crucial for Mecki to get past Matty here, grab another podium and damage limitation to his championship rival SGF1 Gonzo. But by winning this race, Snocken 75 would be placing himself in that conversation as well. We'll have a look at the table in a bit of time if this race ever calms down enough for us to do so. As we can see here now, Meki riding back off Matty, gaps 0.2 of a second with DRS wide open. It's Mercedes versus Ferrari. We've seen this battle quite a couple of times before. Matty v Meki happened in, last time I can recollect, Miami last season. Ended in fireworks, then the stewards investigation. Let's hope it goes better this time. Gonzo has gone into the pit lane, perhaps to try to undercut Snock in 75. Could be a decent call. Is Meki going to be coming in on the same set of tires? No, he's not. But he's not able to get a closing speed to put a move on Matty quite yet either. But he is getting ever closer. Djokovic just breathing down his neck. I do wonder if Matty's the one holding this field up a little bit, because everyone seems to be stacking up right behind him, and Matty is on that slow, hard tyre. Are those tyres so goddamn awful this Grand Prix that, well, they're this slow? Let's have a look. What has our good friend Gonzo gone on to? Hard tyres. Let's see what kind of progress he's going to be able to make here. Yes, Meki's actually lost the position now to Djokovic 5981. Interesting revelation here, as now they've fallen back a little bit on Matty, but I expect Djokovic to be retaking those tenths of a second quite rapidly. As Hybrid's now round the back of Meki. As we do have a caution in Sector 2, that's JV8 having had an issue. Coming out of the right left-hander very, very fast after the hairpin. It's Hybrid then, it's now up in P4, having gotten past Meki. Could Hybrid be on the way to a brilliant podium here in Saudi Arabia? It's definitely showing the pace for it now. Djokovic is challenging Matty for P2. Matty just holding his own round the outside of turn 2. Harry Howard's retired from this session on track as well, which is worth a notice. That is not allowed in this. Has he retired on track? I have to wait and see about that. But Stockton still has the lead of this Grand Prix. Djokovic trying to get past Matty, unable to do so on last attempt, but he did give it a good run heading into the fast corner, which is what you have to do. But might have landed now that Matty's good defending that outside line. Oh, he's just getting massive tank slapper on the dad is Djokovic. Not for the first time he's had an issue in Saudi Arabia. It happened in Season 3 as well during the sprint race. And Djokovic now down to P6. He did make contact with Hybrid there. Tried to take avoiding action. Now lost 2.5 seconds. Does he have damage? Hybrid, or did he just get away with it? He did get away with it indeed. Just lost a bit of momentum. But Hybrid's now running with a podium position. Gonzo looks rapid on those hard tires. Now has to get past Wiggins 71. I would imagine will be going long on those hard tires and will be doing everything he can for his teammate to hold Gonzo up a treat. Matty will be praying for a safety car right about now. Lap 12 out of 25 then. As there we go, we do have a full car safety car. I don't know what it's been triggered by, but that is exactly what Matty needed. Now he's had his safety car. Snocken is going to retake the lead of this Grand Prix, but surely Matty has to come into box for a set of medium tires. Should be able to make the end of the race on those now with light the fuel load. The question is, SGF1 Gonzo is going to be able to take the position from Matty. Think Matty might have preferred if that safety car just came a bit later so Wigan could hold him up a little bit. But it did come at a brilliant opportunity for him now. Going to be able to slap on a set of fast tyres and really challenge these hard runners. So now it's just a matter of what tyre potentially for Matty, but surely has to be a set of mediums. Hybrid has placed himself in a good position as well. Well, he's not now because he's been given a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car and is currently running within a podium position. He's now going to be running dead last at the end of the safety car period. No one's been lapped so far, which means Hybrid's going to fall right to the back. Here we go then. Pit lane will be Matty MC16's favourite place at the moment. Safety car is going to be his favourite car as well. What is going on at the Mercedes medium tyres? And a new front wing. I wouldn't have expected that. Matty MC with front wing damage. I don't think he's been involved in any collision. Wigan coming into pit as well. Having to wait a bit because of the previous pit stop from Matty MC, and he's going to be losing positions because of it. And I think it's quite a lot. He's been held in pit lane for an unnecessarily long time there. Gets one back in the McLaren, but Wigan's fallen back quite a bit. Matty coming back out in P4 behind Meki, Gonzo and Snocken. And everyone now going on to new boots. Danny as well. After 5 laps on his hard tires is taking on new, well, I would imagine mediums here. I think just having a 5-second time penalty there as well. Don't know what for though. As Gonzo saying he got wing damage on the first safety car period. Let's see, I want to know if Danny has had a 5-second time penalty anywhere. Indeed, yes he did, for speeding in a pit lane previously. That's what that penalty was for. So I got held in the pit lane there, and it's now down in P15, but on fresh medium tyres. We're halfway through this Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. Anything can still happen, and a lot of things has happened this race. We'll be going racing in a couple of minutes time here. So then, 2 retirees, Harry Howard and Ruben S.N. Snocken at the moment, leading the Grand Prix from Gonzo, Meki and Matty. Matty in a brilliant position on those medium tyres at the moment. So Snixor and I was, to be fair, having found their way up in P6 and 7. And by the look of things, by how much time Matty lost on the medium, or on the hard tyres earlier, now with even lighter fuel load, those mediums could be rapid. Split strategy stem for Aston Martin. Guides on hards, Djokovic on mediums. Wigan, fresh medium tyres. Dodd has done the same. Darren Style, hard tyres, fresh ones of those. Jamar and Danny, fresh mediums, and JV8, fresh hards. But everyone on no more than 4 lap old tyres, says GF1 Gonzo on the hards. So on lap 14 out of 25, surely the safety car should be coming in this lap, although JV8 is running quite a bit behind, so it might wait for just one more for him to catch up. I believe it will. 91 minutes into the stream, lads. Hopefully you're enjoying it as much as I am. Please let me know if you are or if you aren't, and what we can improve make the experience just that bit better if that is the case. But hopefully you're enjoying the Grand Prix. Snokken in prime position to win his first NEF1 race as things stand. But Gonzo, Meki and Matty, they're no slouches, they're not going to make it easy for him. Matty will have a point to prove after last season and after the last 14 laps. That's seen nothing go his way, potentially apart from that safety car. Here we go then, fill us all bunched up. We should be going back racing at the end of this lap. Let's spray Snokken from Gonzo, from Meki, from Matty, from Hybrid, who has a drive-through penalty. He'll have to serve as soon as possible so he can get back into this Grand Prix, hopefully. Outside the points, a bit surprisingly, we find both Jamar and Danny Wigan just outside the points as well, after being held in the pit lane after pitting on the same lap as Matty, who changed his front wing actually. If he hadn't changed his front wing, Matty MC, where would he be right now? Would he perhaps be P3, even P2? I'm not quite sure. He wouldn't have been ahead of Snokken. I'm not sure where he would have been. Safety car is coming in this lap, and now let's see if Snokken's as good at restarts as Gonzo was earlier this evening. Basically left Snokken without a chance to do anything about it. As they're weaving like crazy to get warmth into their tires. Snokken not slowing down as much as Gonzo did, and is leaving himself with less options now, but safety car is into the pit lane. As Gonzo wants to get this race restarted, but please maintain single file formation. Ladders, there we go. Gonzo is following Snokken down the pit straight, and this race is back underway. Meki is moving along Windy Slipstream nicely. Is he going to go for one down the inside? No, hopefully no one is on this restart. We have a Red Bull off. I was just running a bit wider. Nothing to worry about, I reckon. Here we go, and Jamar taking a position on Darren Style as well, running for former team Alpine, battling side by side as well. And Wiggins taking a position from Geitz is up into point in P10. Meki and Hybrid, Meki and Hybrid are actually now doing battle. Hybrid with the penalty though, so it'll be inconsequential. Matty up in P3. But already falling back a bit on the two leaders, Gonzo and Snokken. The gap's 9/10 of a second. Quite a quiet restart. That is basically as you would want it. Hybrid now on the back of Snixor 4. Former championship contender in, well, especially season 1, had a very, very strong year, challenging Danny to the title, taking it to the penultimate race. Djokovic makes it past Cool Ice Cube, multiple time podium sitter and multiple time race winner Djokovic versus multiple time podium sitter Cool Ice Cube. As Hybrid now goes into the pit lane, saw that drive-through time penalty, won't want to pick up a speeding penalty, and he doesn't. But now then, this is what we've been waiting for. The top three is separated by a second in total, and it's split strategy. Snokken on the freshest hard tires, Gonzo older hard tires, Matty soft medium tires. Onto that car, fresh medium tires on that car. Hybrid gets 3 second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings, which is not ideal when you're running dead last. Aiming to just score points in this Grand Prix now surely has to be a goal. Lap 17 out of 25. There's not a very long way to go. 8 laps still remaining here. As we can see here as well, Geitz is round the back of Cool Ice Cube. He's not on the back of Cool Ice Cube. He's on his side pod basically, and heading down into the last corner. Is he gonna try something round the outside of that final corner? Just outbrakes Cool Ice Cube and out-tractions him on the exit. That's a position for Geitz 0. Now Matty is gonna be having a Gonzo. DRS has been re-enabled this lap. As well as this Snixor is on the hunt for Meki 5724 and looking for a first really strong position of this season. It could be P4, P5 for the Swedish McLaren driver. Be a very well earned result. Crucially, no time penalties for any of the leading 10. Also worth remembering, fastest lap points is awarded to anyone who sets it in this league, even if you're outside the top 10. So let's see if we can get a battle for that going in the final couple of laps. But Matty just not quite close enough to be able to get to Gonzo or Snocken, just falling back by about half a tenth per lap, and can't really mount that offensive as he would probably like to on those medium tires, because they are going to reach a crossover point towards the end of this Grand Prix. Gonzo now with the DRS on Snocken, which is not going to help Matty out too much. This DRS train that is beginning to form as Gonzo's as fastest lap at Grand Prix so far. 131 something, I believe it was 131.1. Good time indeed, as Snixor is now right on Meki's side pod yet again, but not quite on him enough to make a move stick there. Matty on Gonzo now is getting ever closer. Gonzo unable to quite stick to the back of Snocken to put any proper pressure on him. But I'm sure all three of these are feeling quite a bit of pressure right now. Meki's fallen back like a stone. Gaps 5 seconds already after just a couple of laps of racing action. But surely this can't be a fun situation for Snocken. Two very, very, very fast drivers behind him and hunting his first NEF1 victory. Is it going to come this time? It is going to come over the course of the season, I'm sure, but it is going to come as early as Saudi Arabia. We'll have to wait and see. We'll know in 6 laps time. Gonzo and Matty are out hunting, but Gonzo is now climbing up to him, and round the outside of the final corner we go. Leaves enough space on the inside. The Snocken just survives the first onslaught. DRS is open for the main straight. Gonzo crucially doesn't get any. Matty does. Gonzo defends the inside. Matty gets a brilliant run on him. Gonna try to hang it around the outside of turn 1 and turns into the inside of turn 2. Gonzo just leaving Matty basically a tire's width of track space there. But the two navigating that corner rather beautifully. But Matty will want to be braking Gonzo as fast as he can and have at Snocken here. We have 5 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Snixor is hunting down Meki. Gaps 8 tenths of a second. As now Djokovic is going to be able to fly past them on the straight leading up to the hairpin. See if Snixor can fight that one back. 3 Swedes currently in P5, 6, 7. Also Swede in the lead of this Grand Prix, then it's a British 2-3, followed by a Portuguese driver in P4. Then Hungarian Gaitse, British Danny, Jamaican Iowa, Standard from India, Cool Ice Cube from Britain, Jamar from Canada, Darren Stalin JV8 British and Hybrid British. There's a lot of diversity in this league in terms of nations they're racing from. It's absolutely brilliant to see. Snocken is defending for his life here. Gonzo not quite with enough juice to launch an attack on this attempt. Matty has enough juice by appearance's sake, but just holding off for the time being. 8 lap all medium tires. They're soon gonna start going off though. Wanna get that move done soon. Djokovic right on the back of Meki. Yellow flags in Sector 1, that's Hybrid having issues. What looked to be such a promising race for Hybrid has now turned sadly into a bit of a disaster for him. Currently sitting down in P16 and chances of points are looking slim to none unless we have a very, very late safety car here. Which can still happen, that'll be shut off on lap 23. But here we go then, Matty right on the back of Gonzo with the helpers and DRS, with the helpers from ERS and some slipstream. You can see him making those visual gains, but is it quite close enough to think about a move? It's close enough to think about, not quite close enough to execute. Here we go then. Gets a lovely run on him though, heading into the final corner, or out of the final corner. There's nothing Gonzo's going to be able to do about that one. Matty takes P2 and sends it down the inside for the lead of this Grand Prix. He's going to be able to hold that round the outside of Snocken. Just tries to, but not quite close enough. But there you can see the effect of the medium tires is working so well on the braking conditions, and Matty has now emerged as a challenger for the win of this Grand Prix. What looked like a poor start to the Grand Prix for Matty has turned into a worldly of a strategy. Hard to mediums, and he's now challenging up front. Gonzo, nothing he could have done about the onslaught from Matty, and Matty just falling short to Snocken there. Darren Stahl, 3-second time penalty. Multiple track limit warnings. Djokovic is now ahead of Meki. Here we go then, second DRS zone of the track. And look at the speed he is gaining on Snocken. That is a Mercedes that is very, very fast in the straight line. I believe it is a battery on the Haas that doesn't have much juice left in it. Let's see how Matty plays this one. Does he go for it as soon as he possibly can? Moves to the outside. And he's going to take Snocken the same way he took Gonzo. With 2 laps to go here, he is going to take the lead of the Grand Prix away from Snocken here. Could be heartbreak, but Matty takes the lead of the Grand Prix on lap 23 out of 25. 2.5 free laps left to go. Snocken is now battling away with Gonzo for P2 here. Gonzo desperate for those points, and that is going to allow Matty to just break away ever somewhat. And if he can get outside that 1 second gap, I reckon he is safe for this win. But there we go then, crucial for this Grand Prix. Snocken with a 3-second time penalty, probably out of contention. Meki with a 3-second time penalty. Snixor is 3.5 behind. He's now going to start reeling that gap in. Gonzo is going to start resting a bit easier, but he will want the win from Matty. Might just be a bit out of his reach on this occasion. No, Matty is going to breathe a sigh of relief with the help of that penalty from Snocken. Now just focus on not picking up one yourself. We're on the end of lap 23, heading into lap 24 in just a moment time. Is Matty leading the way from Snocken and Gonzo. Djokovic quite a way behind, battling away for P4. iWatts has had an issue in Sector 2 as well, as Danny DC is retired from the session. I don't know what's gone on there. Has he had an incident coming out? Yes indeed, he's in the wall. Left-handed on turn would that be turn 24, 25? I think so, and that is Danny out of this Grand Prix. No points and heartbreak for the Red Bull driver. I don't know where he crashed out from. That is race over. No points for Danny this weekend as we're heading into China next week. He'll hope to have a better one there. Looks like no points for Red Bull this weekend. Snocken right on back of Matty, basically just for track position. Looking towards the outside of the hairpin. Matty defending valiantly. Won't want to fight this one at all. Gets very close to the wall there, and Snocken gets very close to Matty once again. Surely there's no point in going for Snocken now, just risking penalty and further humiliation. If something was to happen, could lose quite a few more positions if you take out the leader of the Grand Prix. Could be quite a decent time penalty coming his way if that were to happen. Don't quite see the point in battling away for this one. Matty's ERS light is flashing bright red, and that is surely going to be seen though. Best F1 Gonzo, who still is without a time penalty and has a shot at the win here, and he's setting himself up beautifully coming out of the last corner. If Matty now, with no DRS, gets a bad run out of here, Gonzo could potentially start thinking about a move on the last lap of the Grand Prix. He is closing in on Matty. Surely there's no reason for him not to go for it, but he opts out of it. Snocken is battling away with him, and that could allow Gonzo to have a little look into potentially the S section. No, not quite. Doesn't have enough battery to utilize, but he's ever getting closer to Matty. Thankfully for Matty now, though, is that he'll have that coveted DRS to defend away from him on Snocken, so that might be a good choice for Matty, just opting out a little bit, but that is probably the end of that one. Gonzo just in the wall a bit, pushing too hard and falling back by about 7/10 of a second, and Matty surely is on his way to his first Grand Prix win of this season. Snocken put up a valiant fight, and Gonzo is still fighting. He is 6/10 behind. It'll take an absolute miracle now. Matty, after a disastrous first stint where he looked basically out of contention, has put in a magical recovery drive in the second stint after the safety car, where he did get a bit lucky with the timing, you could argue that, but he made the most of it. He made the strategy work, and what a race it has been from him. Gonzo is on his chuff though. It is not over until it's over. All it takes is one little lockup, but surely now Matty is gonna have this one. No drama heading into the last corner. Utilize everything he has on the exit. Gonzo just makes one more attempt at it, but Matty, he's driven valiantly, and he'll take the win here in Saudi Arabia. He reigns supreme yet again around his favorite track. Matty takes the win from Gonzo and Snocken. Djokovic is going to come home in P4, followed by Meki in P5. Time penalty won't affect that. Snixor takes P6 from Geitz's P7. Wigan takes home a couple of points from Mercedes in P8, followed by Dard with a double points finish from McLaren in P9, and Cool Ice Cube being the driver for Alfa Romeo to grab a point in this one after what looks to be a hybrids weekend all day long. Didn't quite go his way this evening. Darren Stahl finishes P11, followed by hybrid in P12, JV8 in P13, as followed by Jamar with a silently bad race. Don't think I basically saw him throughout the majority of this one. Finishes down in P14, and iWatts P15. Your retirements this session is Danny, Harry Howard, and Ruben SN. And as Matty Adams says there in chat, unfinished business from last season when he got disqualified, basically just because of a game issue, which you could argue cost him the shot at the championship last season as well. Now Matty Adam is back here in NEF1, and he is back in the Drivers' Championship battle. Absolutely brilliant race from Matty MC16 then, who takes the win in Saudi Arabia. It is Redemption Day here in NEF1. Matty MC16 picks up 25 points in Saudi Arabia and brings Mercedes closer to fold in the Constructors' Championship as well. Snocken has, he's emerged in NEF1 as an absolute top contender as well, and with that performance, I'm sure that is just one of many podiums that is going to come his way this season. It's been an absolute brilliant performance from Snocken all the way through this evening and all the way through the beginning of this season. We're very much looking forward to see what he's going to be able to do over the course of this season, as we're having the black screen of death at the moment. See if we can get those final results up. No, we can't, which is bad. That is very bad. Hopefully they're going to be on someone else's stream so we can actually do anything with them. But then, that is going to be it for this race around Saudi Arabia. Round 3 of the NEF1 Season 5 Championship has been concluded, and what a race it was. Matty MC taking top honours from SGF1 Gonzo and Snocken. Hopefully we'll be back on stream next week as we go racing in China. It's a bit of an uncertainty as things stand, but let's pray that we are. If not, then we'll see you in 2 weeks' time in Portugal. But let's hope we see you next week in China as we go racing there for the second time in NEF1, only apart from Season 1. We will see you hopefully next week in China then. Until then, have a good one, stay safe, peace out. Have a awesome New Year's Eve. I'll see you next week.